today I will be reviewing all of my old sketchbooks, starting in 2016 until now. It's quite a lot, so let's get started. Okay, welcome to the voiceover. We're starting in we're starting in 2016, 2017 with some lovely anime drawings. The beginning of my art journey is very different from the fine art stuff I make now. I really started making art because I was like, planets. I was into like fandoms and shit, and I saw fan art for them, and then I wanted to make fan art. So I really started with all these like anime and then bands I was into at the time. So it's all kind of really cringe, but it's what I was doing. I was really proud of this like self-portrait here. Ignore Voltron, don't look at it. I know it's terrible. Listen, how old was I? It was 2016. I was hold on, I can't do maths. Oh, this is Troye Sivan. I was really into him at the time. I'm not anymore, but I also used to just like write over things that I didn't like anymore. Like that was like a YouTuber I watched at the time, and I was like, oh, this is a bad drawing. So I just go over it and be like, no. I also used to draw my friends. Oh, this is really edgy. 21 Pilots fan art. This is really this is terrible. Anyways, I was 13 when making this, so cut me some slack. But yeah, it's not my best work, and it's very cringe, and every time I look at it I go, ooh. Oh, here I did some like redrawing. So I think that this one is the first one, the original, then this one, then this one. These all have a couple years between them. It's written next to it, but you can't exactly see. And then that like blue one in blue pen is the last one. Pretty nice to see the progress and difference in style. Like I said, I was very I did some realism, or well, I mean, it's not really realism, but like more realistic stuff here and there, as you can see. But it was mainly that like very simplified cartoonish style, because that's all I would see on the internet. It was that or hyper realism, so I didn't really have any thoughts on like any alternatives. I didn't really know how to make anything that wasn't that. And also I was watching the YouTubers like Lavender Town at the time, who were like, oh, if you want to get into art school, or if you want to make a webcomic, which at the time I really wanted to make a webcomic, which I don't know why, because I never read any, and it was never like an interest of mine, but I just really felt like that was the only way I could tell a story in art. So I really adopted that like webcomic style that was like super simple and just simple to the max and easy to draw 100 times, and easily recognizable characters that all kind of look the same. We're moving on, I think, to 2017. A year later, I was 14. This one also has a lot of edgy 21 Pilots sketches in it, but also like some better drawings. Like I really like this one. It's still that ugly little style that I don't know if I just did that or if that was already like that. Self-portrait. In this one, I kind of start moving away a little bit from that like ugly style. What? This one says, why am I so ugly? I don't know. I kind of start moving away from it. I kind of start doing like this one is again a self-portrait. There's some more realism in it. Another self-portrait. I was really into self-portraits, I guess, but I kind of start moving away from it. I really like this piece still. It's Declan McKenna. I actually went to this one too, I think, and this one as well. I actually went to his concert not too long ago, so it's also cool to see like old interests still be returning. Like there's patterns. Like this is what I mean. It's a little bit more fine arty, and I started to just kind of find something outside of that Instagram kind of style. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just not really for me. But I was trying really hard to fit that mold for a very long time. This is Stranger Things fan art, because that came out at the time. Like stuff like this, I was really felt like I was forced to do by myself, of course. Like no one was forcing me to draw anything. No one was sitting me down like, hey, draw this now. But yeah, I really forced that style upon myself. So it's It's unfortunate that I for so long made art that I didn't really want to make. But I definitely did rep that one myself on that occasion, but that's fine. But in the next one, I think it's a little bit later. Yeah, it's 2018. I'm still kind of stuck in this style. This one wasn't as interesting, so I didn't really film much of it. Just kind of a quick flip through. This was the only interesting piece that I found in there. The rest was just sketches of OCs over and over, just like this one is. But this time I had started kind of my desire of wanting to get into art school, because prior to this I wanted to get into a comic design course. And then went to an open day of that and quickly realized that it wasn't for me, and that it wasn't really the type of art I wanted to make. Kind of had a wake-up call. This is a draw this in your style, by the way, and this too, and a couple more to come. This is one that I did. This is my draw this in your style, which I started doing because I was then really lost, because my identity had been like, oh, I want to be a comic artist for so long that I didn't really have any goals or any paths in my art that I was like going down. So I then started to redo, like, this is a recreation of an old painting. Like, I really started to redo a lot of stuff and try to branch out, which I really struggled to break out of that comic artist mold for a very long time. Also, I don't know why I included this in here. I think this is from 2017, 2018 still. But I put it in here because I didn't put a date on it. Like, I had the one time where I think for my portfolio, I just went through all my art and I started putting dates on every sketchbook. Which is why I have them all neatly organized like this. Oh, these portraits are awful. I really do not like looking at these. We're about to get into 2019, which is like less cringe and more. At that point, I was attending a not quite an art school, but a media like design school, where I had to do stuff like I had classic drawing classes. This is that sketchbook that I was talking about from that time. I had like classic drawing sketch classes, but also like 2D animation. Here I was still doing some comic design. Like I was really in an identity crisis as an artist at this point. But I think you can start to see, like, here some more abstract pieces. Not really too much, because at the time, like at this school, it was also kind of required to have like no style, if that makes sense, because you're designing stuff mainly. So I was trying to make like web layouts, and my sister drew this. It's like a little mouse. This sketchbook also wasn't very interesting apparently, but we're about to get into a sketchbook from the same time that I worked more in. But we weren't really required to have a style. When I actually did the interview for this school, they were like, oh, you're like way overqualified in the illustrative department. We're used to getting people who've never picked up a pencil. I was like, what are you talking about? You're a design school. But they're like, yeah, well, we also do like web design, and they have like developers and coders. It was like a really broad, weird study. This was for a drawing class at that school. I was also really into Peach Pit at the time, so I drew their album Being So Normal. I almost got the album cover of that tattooed. Also, it was Goretober. At the time, it was October, which some people do this thing called Goretober, so they're about to get some nasty drawings. So if that bothers you, like, we're about to see some with some self-harm, I think. Yeah. So sorry, I maybe I didn't warn you on time. But I will say, like, this was not a good part of my life. Like, I dropped out of this school after like a month, which is also why I'm talking about it so like hastily and like with no big regard to anything I was doing there, because I didn't really know what I was doing there. Like, we were just mainly learning how to use Adobe programs, and it was just really boring, and I was mentally not doing very well. So I quit after a month or something, which is when my big high school dropout. I mean, I had already dropped out of high school, but this is where my real big era of not going to school started, which lasted quite some years, I think 2 or 3. So you're about to see a big improvement in art, because I had a lot of free time, and I spent that on trying to better my art and I mean, of course, also mainly on trying to get better mental health, but the better the mental health, the better the art becomes, for me at least, because I have more motivation and more mental peace to do things. Also, first me appearance, yippee. But yeah, so I think 2019 to 2020 and like 2020, 2021 is really when my art started taking off, I think, in the fine art direction, because that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to apply to art school. I don't know when, but I will be doing it whenever I feel ready to do so. It ended up being in 2022, so pretty soon after I dropped out of school, about a year or two. Of really like focusing on just art and doing that all day, all the time, because I still tried to attend school at some point, but it didn't really work out. It was like this special education sort of thing, and I only had to go for like drawing class because that's what I was focusing on, and I don't know, it just didn't work out. Also, for some reason started to sketchbooks like both ways, like from both sides, so I just had to flip it to show you the other side. Into the Spider-Verse had just come out, so I was drawing a lot of that because this is really fun, like animation style to draw. I think at least the figures for sure. And that's the end of that era, and now this is a figure drawing sketchbook from 2020 to 2021. I will say I think I'm missing some sketchbooks in this video. I think I know where they are, but I haven't included them in this, so I will maybe make a separate video where you can view those, because I do think they're nice to look at, but I just couldn't find them. These are just all figure drawings, so I'll go through them like kind of quickly. This is a nice self-portrait, I will say. I don't do self-portraits as often anymore, but I do really like when I do them. This one too. I think, yeah, this is a portfolio piece of mine. I wanted to include some figure drawing just to show some technical skill, but like looking for this sketchbook, which is just figure drawings, basically, I don't understand. Sorry if you can hear the siren in the background. Like, why I didn't include this, for example. It's so much better, so much more interesting to me, but I opted to include that one over like this, which is way more beautiful, but whatever. I was really into like classical drawing training at the time, so I was doing all these like busts, like classical busts and figure drawing on all those like websites that you can do figure drawing on, and they give you like this pose and you have 5 minutes to draw it. I was really into doing those. They are fun to do. I do recommend it. They also have like this. I did birds for a bit. It's really fun, and it's a good exercise, because I think here, like doing all these figure drawings and all these like realism practice is really where you can start seeing a divide between that cartoonish style and everything after this. I think is a great difference. I also got my first oil pastels here, which quickly became one of my favorite art supplies, and still is. I really love oil pastels, and you'll see a lot more. Also, drawing men is still big part of my art style. And then I kind of stopped doing figure drawings, so the rest of the sketchbook is empty. Now this next sketchbook, I really got into this like one podcast where the host was really into, it's 2020, 2021 again, I'm pretty sure, or just 2020, I don't know. Where the host was really into saints and Catholicism and every weird aspect associated with that. And then I started to get really into angels. So you'll see a lot of angelic and wings in this. You can already see one in the top there. And here, yeah, you'll see a lot of those in this sketchbook. I was also really into creatures and weird little goobers and such. But here you can really see the more experimental phase coming through. Like, that was a real leaf I put in there. Also, if I cut something out, it's probably because I wrote something down of like personal information. I really use these things as sketchbooks. Oh, also it's 2020, so I was really into Minecraft. Don't worry about it. It's part of my cringe lore. It's part of my autism swag. It's fine. This is a sea angel here on the left, which I still really like this drawing. It's a real creature, a deep sea creature. You should Google it because it's so beautiful. Again, Minecraft stuff. Listen, we're all allowed to be a little cringe. This was my cringe era. I've since stopped being cringe. I haven't. I'm still very cringe, but it's fine. I'm a different kind of cringe now. Oh, also rest in peace, Technoblade. That's sad. I saw this and I was like, oh. Anyway, here I was doing a lot of, I don't know what I was up to. Some of these I really don't remember, and I just have, like, generally 2020 to 2022, I have, like, little to no recollection of what the fuck was going on. I do remember this sketch on the left is for a painting that you'll see in a couple of pages. It's, again, Minecraft related, but, the Minecraft paintings are actually based on real paintings by Christoph Zetterstrand. I'm pretty sure that's his name. Yeah, here it is. And I recreated one of those. I think it's called The Void. It was on my portfolio video as well. If you wanna watch that. And I just included it because I like making copies of stuff to show maybe not even technical skill, but also that I can interpret something in my own way. Also, if you just saw those, like, Twitch assets, that's because I was streaming a lot at the time and I needed some, like, stuff. I needed some, like, banners and shit. I also started getting into oil painting, I think, for the first time here. That Minecraft painting was an oil painting. I prior wasn't really into painting as much. I had done it a couple of times, but mainly on canvas, which I still have somewhere, but not as much in sketchbooks. But this time I really started getting into painting and drawing and different mediums, and I was really exploring stuff. I think it's really cool to see the difference between, like, 2019 with all the OCs and shit, and then just a year later I was making all these creatures and portraits and stuff. Like, this is so cool. Sorry, I'm tooting my own horn. I'm just I'm just complimenting myself, but no, I just think it's cool to see the progress. Like, oh, this is a Meet the Artist. I was reading this and I was like, this is still the exact same. These are still my interests. I'm still into car seat headrest. I'm still into houseplants. I'm still into my dogs. That sounded weird. I still love my dogs. I'm still a hater of digital art. Sorry, just my own digital art. I don't hate digital art in general, but mine specifically. Oh, also, this was really my oil pastel era. I'm not out of my era, but this time I was really into it. So all of these next pieces, I think, are pretty much oil pastel. I was also really, this is when I started getting into writing in my work, because in the, like, more digital art sphere, that's kind of normal to have some writing in your work, like in the cartoonish sort of style. It's kind of normal. But in the fine art world, it's not really a thing that much. So I really wanted to include that because for me, like I said, I grew up on that internet art, that, like, Instagram style. So I really like combining elements of that in my, like, professional art, if that makes sense. I think it's so funny to call myself a professional artist, even though I guess I am. It's the only job I have. Oh, also, car seat headrest brain rot is starting. That was Will Toledo. So you'll see a lot of you're gonna see either my writing or car seat headrest lyrics from now on if you see writing. That was the end of this sketchbook, but yeah, I really love including that some internet origins in my professional work. Like the Minecraft painting reference is just, I think, funny to have that in my portfolio and talk about it with my teachers. I also made a Minecraft Let's Play for one of my classes, which my teacher loved. So it's, I don't know, it's just great to have that overlap between my interests of my daily life and then my, I guess, more professional work life, etc., etc. Now we're in 2022, I think. I didn't read it at the beginning. I hope I'm right. I started to include some more nature in this era. I really liked putting in. I really tried to go for a color palette for a period of time of this brown, orangey sort of situation. Not in all my work, but in definitely a lot of it. Like here, there's also some portfolio pieces. Anything that has the, like, white sticker on top is a portfolio piece. or was at least considered for a portfolio piece. I mean, a lot of the sketchbook and I mean all of these sketchbooks were considered for my portfolio. And that's why they're so neatly ordered with the dates and everything, because I was looking through it about 2 years ago now. Wow, that's crazy. I'm starting to feel old, like, looking back at this and seeing that it's so, like, this is only 2 years old, but it feels so much longer. These were designs for a tattoo that I actually have now. Yeah, I'll show it in a second because I have art of it there. Yeah, there we go. Nervous young man. Another car seat headrest quote because I am fucking crazy. I'm not. I'm so normal. I'm so normal about my interests. That's also another fun pattern, is that I really just make art of my own special interests all the time. Which, I mean, obviously you make art of your interests, but in fine art, like, it tends to be a little bit more, like, at school, it tends to be a little bit more subdued and more hidden within your work. Like, a lot of people just make landscapes or portraits, and that's fine, but I just like including my work, or including my interests in my work in, like, a very blatant way that's obvious, so that everyone knows what it's about. That's kind of also a critique I get a lot, is that I over explain my work because I want everyone to understand, but I think that's just a very autistic trait of mine. Is that I like having people know what my work is about. I don't like having, like, sometimes I like to keep them guessing if it's too personal, but generally speaking, yeah, I love sharing my interests. I love to talk about them, so clearly I want people to know when something's about that. We're kind of in my anatomy era right now, or we just were. I'm too late with this, but I was really into anatomy at one point. And then we're at my last sketchbook. I don't think, like I said before, I don't think this is my actual last. I mean, for sure I have another one, but I just did a tour of that separately on my channel, so you can go find that if you're interested in my most recent work. This is from 2023. I have sketchbooks between this, but I just, like I said, I don't know where they are, but if I find them, I'll make another video. I was really into painting again here. I mainly did oil painting on, like, canvas and stuff, so I didn't really use my sketchbook as much. But I still did some tinier acrylic, and this oil, I think, pieces in here. This was another Draw This in Your Style that I made for other people, so it's my Draw This in Your Style. And some Pride pansies, and I was also back into Star Wars here, which is funny because one of my, like, 2017 sketchbooks you just saw was plastered in Star Wars stickers. I think there's more Star Wars art to come, actually, but I don't know. Oh, I really like this portrait. I was really proud of it when I made it. I really think the colors and everything are really nice. The sketch on the left as well. Yeah, that's supposed to be Anakin, I think, but it doesn't really look like him. These fishes were tattoo designs for a friend of mine that I never actually finished. Sorry, Alex, if you see this. I'm sorry. I mean, I made some designs, so he should be happy, really. I did it for free too, because I'm such a good friend. I don't have too much to say about any of these, like, I was mainly just experimenting, because I'd already been accepted into school at this point, so I was just making stuff for fun and not really worrying about whether it was good or not. And that's the end, actually. It's my last piece in this sketchbook. So thank you all so much for watching. I also really like this cover, by the way. It's oil paint. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you another time.